Great. Great. Now this Bok, bok, bok.
I can't.
Kevin,
So.
you may be on DCTV.
Really? What is DCTV? Who knows?
Dragon Con TV.
What is it?
Dragon Con.
Does that make sense? I guess it would.
Here it does.
Not Washington, D.C. They're not watching us in the center right now because we're far more entertaining than, of course, television and all.
Yeah, there's nothing going on in politics right now that we're watching.
Nothing worth watching. Not at all. So hi.
Hi.
¿Cómo estás?
What's your lingual?
Bonjour. No hablo español.
So, what do you guys, I have a question. What do you guys want to hear? Do you want to hear stories? Do you want anecdotes? Do you have questions?
All of the above. Everything.
Well, we'll just, yeah, you know, whenever you're ready, someone can pop up and yell out a question.
Yeah, anytime. And in the meantime, maybe let's just jive. What do we want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about? But I haven't seen you in how long?
Well, it's probably been...
3 years? 2 years? 3
No,
years?
no. I saw you when you were in Vancouver last.
That was...
A year and a half ago?
Was that a year and a half ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say that's 2 years. I was doing something.
Yes. Did anyone see Science today?
Yes.
With my daughter was there, which was kind of cool. The whole crew was there, but that was fun. I want to get back up there again. I miss Vancouver.
Vancouver misses you.
And I know, it was good. I loved it up there. We had a
Has
great
anyone been to Vancouver?
Yes.
Yeah?
On a set.
It's a nice spot. It's coming from the East Coast.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
transplanted out
Banana.
there. They have their thing with each other.
Yeah, actually.
They do. It's kind of funny.
It's bizarre. If you say, I don't know if this happens, this might be like a New York, California thing too, who knows? But when I moved to DC, I said it was from Toronto, and everyone was like, there? Well, too bad for you. Like, whoa. Sorry.
There's a thing.
Yeah.
In California, San Francisco, LA, they go back.
Maybe. It's like a competition.
Yeah, I think so.
Who cares? Okay, so let's try some Andromeda stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good luck.
What kind of Andromeda story?
Well, I don't know. We can
talk about when we first met. How about when nobody knows when we first met?
Sure. We can tell that story.
Over 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And actually, some people have signed photos. There's a photo of me out there that I did this. I shot it back in January of 2000, before you were cast, before anybody else was cast. And it was just to sort of get out to advertisers and stations about the show. And it's sort of funny when I saw that photo yesterday because they never used that shirt. It was kind of a spacey looking shirt. I'm surprised they never used it. But then when everybody finally got cast, and Laura was actually the first one I met once the cast was in place at our studio.
In the office, yeah.
And here's the weird thing. I shot in Auckland, New Zealand for 7 years with Hercules, and the name of the studio was Ackland. It was everything. It was ACKLAND without the U. And I said, wow, I'm almost back in New Zealand again. I just finished living down there. So when I walked into the office there, you were. Who's all there? Alan Eastman was there.
Yep, and Sam.
Yeah.
And you and I, and then there were some office people, and I remember being absolutely petrified.
She was a little 20-year-old girl still in college, you know, and it was just so funny. I knew she had done a lot of things up in Canada and things, so I knew her work before, but it was interesting to see her, and she gave me a nice big hug, and it was nice.
Yeah.
Nice stuff.
Yeah, you and Sam actually were very hospitable. It was kind of nice because I had just left Toronto and left my mom and dad and my sisters and moved to BC where I had never, A, spent a lot of time, and B, didn't know a single person. And when you guys welcomed me, and I thought, okay, it's going to be all right.
Because it was that way when I moved to LA. I didn't know a person out there. As big as the town is, I moved out there and not knowing, you get into this business. And you really, when you get into show business, it's almost like trying to become an athlete, a professional athlete, because you're just asking yourself to hopefully get struck by lightning, because there's so many weird things that can either make or break you. So it's strange. LA is not a very friendly city. So there you go.
Have you been to LA?
Yeah,
And we
and we've been friends ever since.
And she's babysits now and then. But there you go. Who's got a question? Come on, go ahead.
Well, I'll do one for Laura.
Oh,
I've done so many for you. Tell us about the film that you're doing.
Oh,
The independent
geez.
film that you're taking to the Toronto Film Festival.
do. Okay, so she was asking about an independent film that I worked on that's going to the Toronto International Film Festival and has just been selected for Vancouver as well. It's called Control Alt Delete, and it's about a guy who right at the turn of the millennium is working for this computer company, and they're trying to prepare for the ultimate meltdown that we all remember never happened. And so the whole idea of the story...
The Y2K thing.
Y2K, yeah.
Ooh, scary.
Well, it was if you didn't know if you were going to have electricity or not, but thankfully it didn't happen. So anyways, the whole story is about how this guy is way more into computers than he is into humans. And it's about the lack of communication with other people and how you have to integrate both elements into your life. It's got some funny stuff and maybe some slightly inappropriate jokes here and there, so but it's really fun. It was good. It was nice to work on a project too. And the guy who's the star is actually on a show called The Reaper. Do you guys know The Reaper? Yeah. So Tyler Levine is actually the star of the film, and his brother Cameron directed it and wrote it. So yeah, it's just like a little Vancouver group. So. There was someone over here who had a question.
Yes. You just started. You just told me that. I've got a movie coming out called An American Carol with John Boyd, Kelsey Grammer. It opens in theaters October 3rd. It's a political spoof on Hollywood. It's directed by David Zucker, who did Naked Gun. Kelsey Grammer plays George Patton. John Boyd plays George Washington. Trace Adkins plays himself. And they're the three spirits that visit Michael Moore. Played by Kevin Farley, Chris Farley's brother. You saw that one. I played George Mulrooney and George Clooney. And it's a very funny political spoof. And it opens October 3rd. And I have a sci-fi cable movie coming out, I don't know, I think December. They had some problems with the visual effects company that fired and got a new one, so I put them back a little bit. But it's called Fire from Below. And I start a thriller called 9 Mile in Baton Rouge in about a month or so. It's basically, I play a guy that was like one of the top actors in the world, like whatever, Tom Hanks or whatever it may be. He was up for a year. There's a trial, like an O.J. Simpson trial, where he's being charged for killing his girlfriend, an actress that he did a movie with and fell in love, but he's charged for her murder. And what happens after that, when he gets acquitted, and what happens in his career. It's an interesting, it's a ghost type of story. It's very interesting.
Did you do it?
And then, no, I started shooting in October.
No, did you kill her?
You don't know. It's a very interesting memento type of feel to it. And then I did another movie called Bitch Slap with Michael Hurst. And I just had it's another memento. It's a Quentin Tarantino type of thing. I have a very small part in it, but it's fun to do. Michael Hurst is the lead male in it, and three women have really, the story focuses around them. And then I'm starting another movie, which is going to surprise a lot of people. It's a very nasty part, very nasty. I'm a ruthless killer, and there are scenes that are quite graphic with a chainsaw. My parents won't see this movie, and that we're going to shoot in Arkansas and Nebraska. And I guess it's the heart of Bikerville or something.
Chainsawville.
Yeah, there's 40 really hardcore biker bitches in it. So, yeah, and then there's a couple more westerns I'll be doing. I think one's going to be up in Calgary. So we'll have to get you in there. Because we got to go most of the Canadian ones.
I love ponies.
It's called Tranquility. And Margaret's going to be in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I did 2 westerns last year, and they did well. And now we've got like 2 or 3 on the line. One with Alan Herman.
Awesome.
Which is, he's Tranquility. That was his script. Great script.
Alan Harmon was an assistant director for many years on Andromeda.
And directed about 4 or 5 of them as well, I think.
Right, that's right.
He's a good guy. He's a good man. He's a good director.
He's in a film with Steve Basic, who is also on Andromeda, and it's called...
with Michael Madsen.
Yeah, it was called Afghan Nights. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Alan Harmon also directed that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Stuff is coming up, which is
Yeah.
good. It's good to stay busy. And I'm doing an episode of Burn Notice with Bruce Campbell about a week and a half. It's a fun part. I play a really tough guy, heavy in that one as well, so it's going to be fun. So, no scenes with Bruce though. Really sad.
Oh, really?
He'll be in the episode, but our characters never get together. So, I don't know. We have another question. Yes. I get a plug for my foundation. Very good. We just, for those who went to yesterday's panel, I just received a gold star from Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger for the best after-school program in the entire state of California. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Laura knows a little bit about the program. I've been doing it for 12 years now. I started back in '96, and I didn't start the program. The woman I met, Normandy Nye, who still runs it, at that time it was called LA Fit for Kids. I did change the name to World Fit for Kids because I wanted to have a broader appeal to it. And I go to Washington, D.C. at least once a year, speak to Congress members there about keeping after-school programs alive. It's fighting obesity with children. It's keeping music and arts and whatever programs they're interested in. The programs that they're cutting out of schools, we put them back in. I work with 6,000 students in the county of LA public schools. We have a 100% graduation rate, which is, thank you. And a county has a 54% dropout rate, so we're pretty proud of that number. And so I'm hosting my own golf tournament in October, the 10th and 11th in Las Vegas. Planet Hollywood is our host hotel. We've got some great musical acts coming out to perform for us at the night of the awards party. We've got Meatloaf, we've got Darius Rucker from Breeding Blowfish, Steve Azar, Josh Kelly, Javier Colon. We've got a really big group of guys who can perform that night. It's going to be a lot of fun. All those guys will be golfing as well. The actors coming up to play, Dennis Haysbert's going to golf, Samuel Jackson's going to golf, Kevin Costner just got it, we got his commitment, we got Joe Pesci, we got a lot of really big A-list actors coming up to play in the tournament. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're raising money because we're going nationwide with it now, and we got a 5-year plan to hit the whole country with it, so it's going to be cool.
Well done.
But thank you for that.
Will it be televised?
It will be televised. Golf Channel is now coming out to put together. We're going to film the Friday and Saturday. Friday night we have a comedy act. We've got Gary Valentine, Kevin James' brother from King of Queens. He played his cousin or something on the series. And then we've got Henry Cho, who you've seen on Comedy Central, very funny guy, and Jackie Flynn's very funny. They'll be the comedy part on Friday night, and we're going to put together we're just doing an hour special for the Golf Channel, but it'll be a fast-paced one. It won't be a 4.5-hour round of golf. So there'll be, a lot of things going on, and other celebrities will talk about their charities as well. So it's going to be a good event. We got Golf Channel on board, which is great. Mini golf? Why is that? Mini golf can be fun, but not for this show. Mini golf is fun.
That's the psych tournament.
That's the psych. They do have a great mini golf course there. That might be kind of cool to take some of the kids. The kids involved in our program. You're right. That would be cool. But we'll get you a mini golf. Anyway.
Only if I can have the fluorescent pink ball.
Yes.
Last year I saw Gordon's little short movie that you were in, Fracture, and I loved you in it.
Oh, thank you.
So what was it like? What was like doing that with Gordon?
It was really fun.
This is Gordon Woolman?
Yeah.
Another short?
It was a short he did while we were still working on Andromeda.
Which one?
Called Fracture.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do the Jorge part.
You were away or...
I think I was gone that weekend. I did. That last season I flew out a lot. I had a lot of stuff going back in the States. But yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was kind of scary because the person who ended up playing the character that you were going to play was a director that we worked with a lot. His name was Jorge Montesi.
We directed quite a few episodes.
Wasn't he on NYPD for a while or something? He did a couple of episodes.
Did he really?
He did a New York murder show thing. And there was a scene though where I had to make out with him. And
I know. Damn, that could have been me.
I remember I was so nervous, and it's like, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to do this. He's like, I'm scared out of my mind. So we both agreed that we were both petrified, and then, okay, let's just do this. Make sure you have a little breath spray. It was pretty fun, though. It was fun doing it.
But you had, I remember it rained on you guys, and it was just, I mean, it was a tough shoot. I remember Gordon Verheuvel said it was really a tough shoot.
Yeah.
It was done over 2 weekends?
Yes, it was. I think, 2 full weekends anyway. Yeah.
It's long hours, so they basically, her schedule for that time was really 7, 14, like basically 20 straight days of work, 19 straight days of work.
Which was okay, you know.
At the time you go, oh man.
Yeah, you're tired.
When it's all said and done, you go, I miss it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's how ours is a business. People don't realize the hours that you put in each day. But it's not like a whining thing. You get used to the hours and you like it. I'm not sort of addicted to it. I do miss after 12 straight years of working on drums, I do miss that regiment. I miss that every day.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is. It's really good.
So I keep myself busy, like, if I can make it times, or if I got a golf trip, I'm going.
Yeah.
I like to keep myself busy.
A typical day for us would be...
Well, she used to be there earlier than all of us with all the makeup and everything.
I think my makeup regime was about 4 hours every day. So, I didn't have a social life.
What time were you normally there?
I would be there. My call time would vary between 3:30 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. And then, if I was in the first scene of the day, I had to be on set for 7:30, so usually 3:30. And then, of course, I would work like the whole time, and then it would take an hour to get out of the makeup at the end of the day. So I made overtime every day. This is so bad.
And Brent did the same thing.
Brent, exactly. Brent and I used to have a competition. Not that it was ever up to us, but he would be in one room and I'd be across, and we'd try and get out of the door first, and then we would go to the other person. But for all of the peacefulness and zen that Rev Them had, Brent was the opposite. He was like crazy, bigger than life, and he would just he would scare the bejesus out of you if he could. He was just not zen.
He's intense. He's a full-on hockey player. He's very physical, very strong. He's always pretty intense guy.
He was awesome. And there were times...
But a good intense, full of energy.
Oh, fantastic.
He'd almost go head-to-head with Gordon.
Yeah, Harper. Those two together in a room, and you need to have some sort of sedative because it's just But I remember Brent, Rev Them, would be walking around the stage, and every so often he would lose a toenail. Disgusting toenail.
He's big foot feet.
Randomly, you'd be walking and you'd see this stray toenail, and one of our grips, who was the guy who handled the scrims and screens and stuff like that, Jeff Button, started a belt. And he started collecting Rev Them toenails. He's like, it's better than any rabbit's foot. King of Rev Them toenails.
The whole, segueing from that, the whole camera crew and lighting crew, they had their own separate little room where they would, just to get away to play guitar when they had a chance, whatever. And on the wall they had, from all 5 seasons, as they built it, they had a wall of napkins that they would write stuff down that, whether it was the actors or whether it was somebody on the set that would say that was interesting to them.
Or stupid.
And they put it on the wall, and we actually made a book out of it.
Yeah,
at the
napkins.
Season. And it's very, very funny. This was quite good. From Tear, from Keith Hamilton Cobb, there's one up there where he said, I like the episodes better when they're about me.
Where's the napkin? Yeah, it was a good time. There were, do you guys want to hear some anecdotes? Yeah. There was a time, and you're in it. Actually, there was many times. I won't embarrass you too much, I promise. We had finished season 1, and at the end of season 1, there was this whole Magog invasion and massacre. And so at the beginning of season 2, we get back, and there are all these, they have foam bodies that are dressed in yak fur. So smell, and they're scary looking, but they're just random bodies lying around. And to an outsider coming in, what are all these Wookiees doing in the corner? It's weird. It looks weird. So one time, Kevin and I, we were coming off the stage, and at this point, all of the Magog were piled into a pile in the corner. Well, I don't know if you remember, but we also had random stuntmen who were dressed as macabre, and one of them decided to hang out in the pile of dead bodies. And Kevin and I opened the door and leave the stage, and he sneezed. We both screamed and jumped. Like
It's weird, the bodies that they make, and they're laying all over in the hallways of the ship, and you stop and you think about the reality of it that was real, and you're going, we just walk through like, where are you going? But it's kind of, I also said it would be so spooky to be in that huge stage at 2 o'clock in the morning by yourself. Just because of the stuff that's in there.
I know.
You know it's not real, but your mind, our minds all race, they go crazy. I just saw it in an app, and I had to bring it up, I'm sorry. It was one of our camera guys, Marco.
Yeah.
And, is it Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
And Sean, I don't know how the whole thing on homosexuals came up as well.
Oh, I know.
But they're sitting there, I don't know how you, I guess a guy, I don't know how you give somebody a blowjob. I mean, I almost gag when I brush my teeth. And Margot says, "Do you brush your teeth with a cock?" And if you knew these two guys,
Day in the life of Andromeda.
It was so funny.
It was
all
funny.
stuff like that.
We got away with a lot of stuff.
We did. I said this before. I always said that they should have had a camera recording our entire show that was rehearsed, each scene as we rehearsed it, because if you're a newbie as a guest star on the show and you saw the way we rehearsed our scenes, you'd think we would ever say this, we're never going to work them, because it was so funny all the time, whatever anybody was ad-libbing and throwing out there. But I'll tell you, once the bell rang and the director said action, we were all there. But I think at first it shocked people, but that part was very funny. I also said, let's do a show like that. Follow it with the final product afterwards, and you'd be shocked. And both shows would be a hit. It would. You saw the stuff that we did during the rehearsal process. I mean, you got like Alan Eastman and some of our other exec producers on the director would get so tired sometimes. They go, okay, can we be professionals now? And they get really mad at us for not being serious enough. But you know,
it was worth it at the end of the day.
It was worth it.
We had a good work environment.
It was a very good work environment.
Yeah.
And you want to keep it that way. You want to have fun with it. You know, I mean, we did a scene. There was one scene we were on Becca's ship, and Keith comes in the door at Hamilton. And Keith's character, Tyr, he leans all the time. He leans on everything. He can't stand to do scenes where he leans. So all of us, before he walked in, decided wherever we are, we're going to lean. So we got the other 6 actors all leaning in there. He comes in for his first take and walks to the door and sees us all leaning. And he goes, okay, I get it. It was very funny. We all
He told me that he got some fan mail once from a group of college kids who said that they would watch Andromeda, and every time he leaned, they would take a drink. Oh my gosh!
They were the college students, and the drinking game out of that.
I think they had a good time.
Well, you did. That's what college is for.
There was, I'll go back to another anecdote. I remember there was a time we were on Becca's ship again, and there's this little portion where it's supposed to be a portal or something where she can look in and get a reading, or it was like a microscope type of thing. Well, anyway, we're rehearsing, and she has to go in and she has to look in and then she has to deliver a very serious line. Well, in between the setup, after rehearsal, they were setting the lights. All of the actors leave that stage because it's actually quite small. I don't know if you guys know the layout of the Maru. It's quite condensed. Well, they built the actual ship. You could walk through it. It was a practical ship. You could walk through it. So we all had to leave. In between the setup, I think it was Doug Craig, who was one of our camera operators, pulled down his pen and took a picture of his bare bum and put it in the microscope. You go to roll, and this is like, and nobody owned up to his bum at once. I knew.
How did you know whose it was?
Because I saw them going to do it.
Everybody shows their ass.
Yeah. You never know what to look at. Anyway, those are funny stories. Yeah, my question now.
Put to your characters as they shall progress. They don't have any help with it.
The question is, do we have input into our characters? And certainly we did. I think a lot of it came from my years on Hercules, where we were so far away from the writers. A lot of things happened on set that Michael Hurst and I started ad-libbing right away, and I think they carried off into Andromeda as well. When I came on the set, I think Laura and everybody else saw the way that I was working, and I was also exec producer on the show, so I did have some say in it. They all would come up and say, look, I got this line, I want to do something like this. And I would just, say, yeah, I want to hold them back to what they were good at doing. And so, just to make a quick answer, yeah, I think everybody would have some say. You don't win every battle, certainly.
No. And you have to choose your battle.
Yeah. But I think, all of us were open to call the writers at any time down in LA and discuss storylines, and, not to change things, the ideas they had, but, everybody worries about their character and stuff like that. I was actually pretty relaxed and stuff, because after 7 years of the hours and the amount of time we had in the gym on Hercules, I was so happy to have another 5 or 6 actors to bounce off of. And my mantra when I first met with Robert Hewitt Wolf, who was our showrunner the first 2 years, was share the wealth. I said that the show shouldn't just be about Captain Dylan Hunt, it should be about all the other characters as well, and their storylines and who they are and where they're going.
And there were times even when we would be working on a scene, or we would be rehearsing, or there would even be a take where something would happen, and it actually worked.
Mm-hmm.
It would work in the moment, and then they would keep it even if it wasn't scripted. So they had enough faith in us to be able to carry that on as well. Like, I actually remember one time, Becca and I were having a fight sequence with random thugs, as would happen with Becca, and one of them was standing on my tail, and I couldn't move. And I remember, I had to get to the other side of the room for the rest of the scene, so I told him, watch the tail! And he stood off of it, and I ran away. And I think it worked. It actually kept it, because he was really on my tail. And I was like, move. And things like that happen, and sometimes they're magical, right?
They are.
And then all of a sudden something happens.
It's funny, as an actor, it's funny because television sort of becomes like a factory in a way. The biggest thing that separates it, obviously, is every day is a different day in terms of the locations, in terms of how it's set up and the scene set up. But there are days you can just phone it in. You don't want to phone it in, but you've been so busy, and it's just day after day after day. But it's nice when you get those moments, when you get a really good scene, and all of a sudden you connect with the actor. I think that's what I love about the profession. And I still get the goosebumps, I still get the stomach going, the butterflies. It's like, for me, it's like a continuation of sports, because I had that when I used to play sports all the time. And it's fun. It's a good feeling. Because you realize, you're in the moment, and you're right there and you're experiencing what that scene really is all about. Acting is reacting, and all we're doing is just hopefully bring some entertainment to people. But at the same time, I still love what I do. I love it too much. So it's fun when like you said, those magical moments happen, and good things happen.
It works.
Yeah, and they wrote some. I like the drama they wrote on it. I like a lot of the bits and pieces they came up with to make it a little more interesting and different. So it was fun. We had our battles, so we certainly call up and fuck is this, guys? Are you kidding me? This makes no sense. It's like, and if they could explain it, then there was really trouble. You wrote it, so. Yeah. But you have your battles with them, and every show has that. Every show's going to have that. Because people care. They care about what you guys can see. Because ultimately, it's us up there, not them. So it makes a difference. Yes, sir.
Was the change you have in the fourth season of the fifth storyline was that planned all along?
People are screaming for me out there right now.
All along through the evolution or the story arc, or was that?
No. I'll let you can answer that.
Yeah, no. Robert Hewitt Wolf had designed essentially a loose base of the entire series.
5-year plan. So obviously go longer, but any writer coming to Hollywood, you have to have, for TV series, you have to give the studio basically a 5-year plan. That's what they want.
And it can be loose, the further on you go, but you want to obviously try and keep it in that wavelength. Like, you have a purpose. I guess essentially he described it to me as kind of like, I don't know, the round table, the Knights of the Round Table, and he essentially had Dylan, and then all of us were progressing in that.
Dylan has a drunk trance would call me Dilly. Go ahead.
Dilly.
Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so it went in that direction, but obviously when people leave or different producers come in and have their own input, that has to evolve, and that's essentially what happened. And then we had, towards the end of our series, we had a new writer take over all of the storylines. And so you're going to have variants. So I wouldn't say that it was set in stone. Season 5 was not planned the same way that it had been earlier.
Well, the whole secret thing was Bob Engels. I don't think that was any plan of Robert's.
No, it was very different.
Alternate universes, that we were stuck in for 2 years with. I enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, I would have loved to see what Robert did. I would love to see his plan come to fruition. Not anything away from Bob Engels, but Robert just really seems like more of a better grasp, I think, of that genre.
Sci-fi.
He was a sci-fi guy. I mean, Bob Engels' writing was very confusing for a lot of us, and you found him as the head writer on Twin Peaks. You go, okay.
That makes sense.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good show.
You know what it is.
Have you seen my porcelain? This is funny. There are people who probably don't know this whole story behind it, so we're very quick about it. But when we had the first porcelains were drafted,
I couldn't believe it.
I'm sure it looked great on paper. But once you actually made the porcelains, and with the colored tones that they put on it, it looked like a devil. It was a devil. It was a sharper edge.
And you don't know how to hold it, because you're like, I don't know how to touch it.
And it looks just like, and the thing is, you get a couple of buttons to press it to make it go a little longer or longer.
Coming out of the
You have the light coming out, and like I'm just flipping around. Let's do that. And but it's so weird. Then they changed it to the blue color, which is at least a better color for it to be.
Really? Yeah.
But out of the 110 episodes, I think we had 108 female guest stars, and they were just waiting for me. They knew it was going to come. Eventually, on that, they should have put together, because they got it on tape. It's in the vault somewhere. And you can make an 8-minute video of me saying it to all these different women pulling on. The last season, they gave me 2 of them. I had a double porcelain. And it was very funny. And what's funny about the last season, sometimes I would forget to do it. And so you get to the 6th or 7th day of the shoot, and then the crew would come up and go, I'm going to show her the porcelain. Show her the porcelain. They got used to me doing it. So it did become quite a thing. And there were some women that really went along and played like Monica Schneider. There were some people I did some. I pulled the porcelains out one take like that, and she pushed out a hand and she went out of frame very slowly. And I was looking at the camera like, what a good story.
Rough life.
Honey, it's my job. But it was funny. It did become sort of a thing within, And we had some great bloopers, and unfortunately, a lot of them, I don't know if they got lost. It's just hard to find it, all those millions of feet of film that we shot, because it's still there. And I made notes that, where was continuity, to make sure that it gets printed. And our ultimate, when they did the final reel when the show finished after 5 years, they missed the majority of it. I mean, it's still a funny reel, but there's so many good moments in there that they didn't put in that were very, very funny. And it would be fun for the fans of the show, I think.
We could find it. I wonder if we could try.
It's up there somewhere. It's a matter of it would take a lot of work, though, to go through all that footage. I mean, we're talking, I don't know how many thousands of feet they use per day. But it's a lot. So.
Sure. One of the funny moments I remember involved Russ Sam again. He's actually a very funny guy. And the camera guys had this little box that they would keep underneath of the lens. And they would sometimes have chalk or bubble gum, which I often stole, and random things. Well, one day they happened to have a rubber dog turd. Don't ask me how. Like, who keeps... Anyway, I won't even ask that question. So one time, Red Ben was just, squatting down and doing the thinker. He was doing this really methodical moment. And I think Mark Cohen threw the dog turd under him. So when he stood up, there was a pile of poop. It was he went,
He went along with it right away. I mean, maybe it was another day he did this. I think it became a standard routine. But he did that and he started like putting dirt on top of it. Very funny.
But the gods, for how scary they look, are actually quite humorous. Like, it's so funny. We had this ice cream truck that would always come to the set. And I guess we were on his route.
Healthy ice cream. It was healthy ice
Oh
cream.
yeah, there were popsicles. nothing healthy about it really.
Like
But,
smoothies and all that stuff.
but so the ice cream man comes, and generally speaking, it would just be crew that will run out. Well, one day, I was still purple. I ran out and I was like, "I got a popsicle!" And the guy was like, "What's wrong with you?" Don't keep the change. Just don't worry about it. And then Brent was like, "I have to get ice cream." So Brent, as a magog, comes running out. I think he put the guy over the edge because he was like so shocked. It's like he was ready to call it.
His voice was always like that.
People would just freak out. I mean, realistically, we see it all the time, but it is a weird looking sight. So
Well, he's scary.
he's scary looking. And then we had also close to our set, we had this hill, and in the summertime it would get quite warm on the set, so we would go outside and hang out on the hill. But there was also a major throughway on the side next to the hill. So one day all of the magogs that were on set that day decided to go sunbathe. So there are people driving along the highway, seeing Wookiees all over them. Like, I would have liked to have heard if they reported any
Big life stunt.
Sasquatch or whatever. So funny and weird if you don't know what's going on. And they would also have, you know, those little scooters you could put your feet on. They would like wheel around in the back lot on scooters. So you'd see all of these magog on scooters turn around.
That was a strange play in the show. It was fun.
Very,
A lot of
very
good
funny.
lines. We'll hit you in a sec. Right here, please.
I forgot to bring the magazine with me, but Kevin, you made TV Guide's top 5 male interstellar bodies. How do you feel about being the only one on the list called a beefcake?
Really? I owe TV Guide some money. Cool. Who's number 1?
I believe it was Tom Welling.
I'd kick his ass. I know Tom, he's a good guy. He's up in Vancouver as well. That's where they film up there. So. Actually, Phil Morris is here in that show. Phil and I did Meet the Spartans together. He's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Remember Phil Morris? Phil was also the lawyer on Seinfeld, the fast-talking, smooth-talking lawyer. He's a funny guy. Greg Morris is his dad from the original Mystery Box. How cool is that? That's his dad.
Yeah.
That's his dad. Yes, right here in the red.
You talked a lot about IT show had a lot of restrictions what does that mean to those
Well, you asked about this about the budget of the show and you know what you're able to do with the budget. And that's usually worked out with the like Alan Easton be working that on most time. It really came down to certain episodes where they say, okay, these are sweeps episodes. We're looking at November sweeps or May sweeps. Most of the money would go to those 7 or 8 episodes. Other episodes, you'd have to have the writers. They say, look, we can't afford the visual effects that we want to be able to afford this episode. You got to make it more of a, you know, it's got to be taking place in the ship. It's got to create more drama. And so it just would vary from episode to episode.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, this is pretty much as simple as that when you look down at the numbers. Alan Eastman is also our exec producer and director. He would take the most expensive episodes himself, of course. He'd allocate all his money for himself. But, you know, I must say to his credit, he was a very good director and he came up with some really good episodes. I mean, I think, and they gave some to Jorge as well, like Ouroboros and things like that.
Yeah.
Some of the favorite episodes, you know. Pardon? That was a cool
Like
episode.
that one? Oh, thanks. I did too. I remember when they told me they were going to change my character, I was really shocked. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I did a bad job. But they didn't fire me, so I guess it was okay. But at first, you know, it's a little daunting when someone says, by the way, we're going to change everything about you. And then you do it. It was really freaky.
What was it also do with your makeup? You had a hard time with
The makeup was hard. Yeah, the purple
On you as
makeup.
well.
Yeah, well, it was, yeah, physically it was tough, but there would come a point in the day where it would just start falling off, and you'd have to reapply, and, 4 hours is a long
I
time.
mean, I like the purple chance of detail, but I really liked the transformation, the
Yeah.
sexier, more self-assured
Yeah,
Trans
yeah,
I did.
yeah.
I thought that was a really cool look, and I think that when David Winning directed the episode where we got rid of her tail, it's still one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Sort of our Tombstone, Arizona one. That's when I ran. Actually, I ran into there's like a saloon door on this little isolated planet, and I ran in with a huge folder. I said, "Oops, Hercules moment. I'm sorry." But that's kind of stuff we did on the set every day. It was kind of fun, and everybody had part of it. Like with the very first episode we did, where Gordon, I think, ad-libbed the line. He goes, when he first meets me, and I flipped him on the ground. I got the extended force lens, the excited force lens in his face, soft porn. And I tell him basically get off my ship, and he runs back. He goes, "This guy was huge. He was like a Greek god or something." That was a kick off the very first episode. It was set. It was set. Actually, my very first scene, I got to talk about this because it's kind of funny, was with Keith Hamilton Cobb, who was a 6'5" black guy. I mean, he's freaking huge. He's got like a 20-inch waist with 900 square. He's just a monster. And I'm 6'3", and I'm not that tiny, but and we do a basketball scene. I said, my son, that guy's gonna have basketball. He's gonna play basketball because basketball still be here 9,000 years. Well, why not? So Keith, as ripped up as he is, he ain't athletic at all. He's got, he's got the white man's season. He can't jump, he can't do anything. So we're doing this scene. I'm a pretty good hooper. So we start doing this scene. I'm dancing around, and dribbling around, shooting stuff, and he gets the ball, and he's like, he had to look at it. And I started laughing. I said, "You kidding me?" He goes, "What, because I'm a 6'5" black man from New York, I should play basketball?" I said, "Yeah." All the brothers I know, I couldn't kick my ass in a hoop. It was very funny. That was the very first day on the set. And Keith and I had a pretty big scene. And I remember Gordon Verhoeven, who was our first DP, said, "Wow, actors know their lines. This is great." And I guess apparently the last series they worked on, there was a lot of trouble with actors not having the lines down, not knowing them. And was it Nightmare?
Nightmare, yeah. Does anyone know that show? Nightmare?
Yeah.
For 1 or 2 seasons. It was 2 seasons, I think, yeah. But apparently, people there came in pretty much unprepared. It's
All
not
depends
fun.
how you roll.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. You want to come on, you want to have fun. The fun part is what makes it all worthwhile. But I'm still a pro when it gets right down to it, and I will have my lines and hit my marks. I'm ready to go.
Park and bark.
Bark and bark. There's a stunt guys in Hercules that say, screw the dialogue, get to the action. And they always t-shirts that I don't know, it's pretty. And the word wasn't screw, but I know, I'm probably swearing too much. Yes?
At what point or what season did you know that you were Avatar of the Sun? Or did trans...
Season 5.
Season
5. I didn't know.
None of us knew.
Oh, okay.
No, that was one of the red herrings that even the actors didn't know about.
But
We'd say, let us know. I mean, it's like 100 episodes.
Yeah.
But, did anyone know? Because remember that, I can't remember the episode where they showed when Harper got all that download of information and he realized, Harper 2.0, and then they showed the little sun tattoo on your back.
Yeah, that might have been a hint towards that there was something more about her. I think originally, I still have it. It's a real tattoo, actually. I had it done when I was 18.
There, see? Shock. And they use it, they utilize it.
Yeah, actually, I
So you
got
have
the
it on,
job.
huh?
Yeah, I got the job, and one of the producers was like, "What's that on your back?" I'm like, "It's a sun." He's like, "Oh."
And we're going to use that season 5.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that until later, but the idea was...
We are so dying to see that tattoo right now.
It's the first time I went to class for that tattoo. I was 18 and didn't think about it too seriously. So who knows? Maybe mistakes actually do pay off. But yeah, I didn't know until the very end. I was happy to be a son, and
It was kind of cool.
it was a
actually.
neat idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job.
It was pretty neat.
Does any? Oh, you have a question?
How did you feel about being a paradigm?
I didn't like it.
It didn't make sense.
The paradigm, and they made me that was a big argument I had with Bob. That was one of those phone calls that wasn't pleasant for him or me, because it didn't make any sense. I said, now you're basically making me another half god in the show. That that I didn't want. That was then. This is now, and I didn't like that because I like the fact that Dylan could die.
That you were fallible.
Yeah, that I was fallible, and all of a sudden they went that road, and I was actually pretty shocked about it, and it was a big battle, and obviously I lost. I still like the season. I mean, after people say that they didn't like season 5, I thought it was. I liked it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
I
it.
did too.
I liked the ending, the addition of Brandy to the set. I think there was at first it was like, well, what's she doing here? But I thought it was kind of cool. It was necessary because of the pregnancy that Alexa had going on at the time. Her boobs just kept getting bigger and bigger. See how big those shoes are?
Dude, I'm a girl. I don't.
That's frame. I mean,
She is tiny.
It's tiny. It's tiny hair. I mean, and it was just like unbelievable. And she'd always grab and show them. And I'm like, don't do that. You still a freaking die. You know what I'm talking about. But, yes, lost in my heart. But that means I did it, apparently. But you're going to blame me for it, and you have the fun of doing it. But yeah, it was a weird move for the show. It was. But I actually sort of downplayed it, and tried to keep it out physically as much as I possibly could. I did. I just said, okay, I'll pretend like I'm not. And play it this way. But there were some cool episodes in there. I love the way season 4 ended, coming through those doors in super slow motion, and the music it put on there. I mean, I just thought it was, and seeing myself, Dylan seeing Dylan and stuff like that. And it was kind of a neat moment for the show, like what happened to everybody else. But it looked like everybody else just left or got killed or destroyed or something. And it was just, I love the opera music they put on that finale.
Yes, that was really great.
Dramatic.
Yeah, it was.
It's actually funny if you ever take the time to watch